in Montana for a time. Anybody remember that? Some of you remember that. The Mustang people remember that. And so I was thinking, I am going to set it. I'm going to get there quick this time. It didn't take into account that Alexis was pregnant. I've never had anything inside me sitting on my bladder. I don't even know what that means, really. But Alexis said, we weren't gone an hour. She goes, "Can we stop?" What? We just got started. I just got the engine revved. I'm on record pace. I've passed 62 people so far. I'm feeling really good about myself. I'm going to stop? Well, yeah, because rest areas are about 200 miles apart, and we hit every one. It's like, this is unbelievable. I mean, how insensitive can you be? I'm trying to get there on time. You've got a baby. Come on, let's get our priorities. And she could tell my frustration was building and building. I know what you're thinking, and you'd be right. What an idiot. And you'd be right. See, those are illustrations I don't think God wants me to forget, because they're exactly the opposite of what He's expecting. Oh, you're hungry? We've got to stop, because that's what I do if I'm hungry.
That's right.
Oh, your bladder? Well, you didn't think you'd hear bladder today. There you go. Hey, when I got to pee, I'm stopping, Sorry. That's not in my sermon notes, but But hey, isn't that the day-to-day stuff? Isn't that what we're talking about? I came home. Settle down, choir. I usually am glad they're here. Second service, I don't have to deal with them. Well, I mean, there's so many illustrations that I could give. I came home from Montana, and Alexis was crying, out of control crying. And that's unusual. So what's wrong? I can't talk about it. Okay. For 3 years, she's been saying she wants to talk more, and now she doesn't, and I'm trying to figure out which one's true, and so I let it go. I never brought it up again. About 3 days later, she said, do you want to know if I'm okay now? So I thought you didn't want to talk about it. I mean, I'm just a simple guy, man. Draw me a picture, whatever. I don't want to talk about it then. I want to talk about it now. I feel like I'm in trouble already. It doesn't get started here. And she said, Mom and I had an argument. And I said, God, I thought it was something serious, We had disagreement about what to do on something. And I mean, I said, that's all it was? What's up with you guys? Golly. Can we turn the lights down in the choir? Just a little too squirrely for me. And let me tell you what I did, and it's a mistake that I think we all make in marriage and in life. I made myself the standard. In my life, I've seen everything bad, from a stepdad punching my mom in the face repeatedly. I've seen mustard jars thrown at fast as they could throw it at my mother and miss her and hit the wall. You name it. It's horrible. It's horrible stuff. I don't like going there in my mind even. But I cannot make my life the standard, because I'll never love Alexis the way she needs to be loved. And I said, well, I haven't argued with your mom. That was every day in my house. But it's the worst thing that's happened to her. I mean, it's the worst thing that happened to her. I got to get out of my shoes and into her shoes. And I've got to say, wow, this really does hurt. Her worst moment is just as painful as my worst moment. Are you following me, church? Yeah. This is a hard sermon for me and for you and for all of us. Verse 29, for no one ever hated his own flesh, but nourishes and cherishes it, just as the Lord does the church. Nourish and cherish. That's got to be in there, guys. How do you nourish and cherish her? How do you do it? You got to do it. If you're going to be biblical, if you're not going to be biblical, you're not going to be one. For we are members of his body, of his flesh, and of his bones. For this reason, a man shall leave his father and mother, shall be joined to his wife, and the two shall be one flesh. This is a great mystery. And that marriage is a mystery. It's mysterious how God can do that. How he could take, Alexis even said this to me. We were in the Blue Ridge Parkway. We got married in Philadelphia and went down the Blue Ridge Parkway on our honeymoon, went to Asheville, and just, it was wonderful. And she would say to me profound things like, I didn't even know you 16 months ago, 18 months ago, and now I'm more committed to you than my own family. And she, it wasn't a question, I don't think. I think she was, it's just, isn't that incredible? I was a stranger 18 months ago, and on our wedding day, God said to her, put John ahead of your family. That's mysterious, isn't it? That's a wow kind of a reality. But he says, but I speak concerning Christ and the church. Christ and the church is the main focus here. And what he's saying is marriage is to be a picture or an illustration of Jesus' relationship to the church. And the world, listen folks, and the world is watching. And the gospel is being damaged when husbands don't love their wives like Christ loved the church, and when wives don't love their husbands the way the church is to love Christ. It's evangelistic. Yeah. And if marriage is evangelistic, no wonder our evangelism is taking a beating. Because we are saying to the world as we close, we're saying to the world, come and be one with Christ. Be reconciled with Christ. The gospel of reconciliation. And we've got to understand the confusion that's being caused. Would you bow your heads, please?